Mic check. How you guys doing? What's going on? I'm just trying to get everything together. Give me a second. We live right now. Mic check, mic check. All right, perfect. What's going on? I'm sorry. How are you? Good, good. What's going on, y'all? We're here in Detroit right now. It's hot in the mug. This is Ty with Status Coup. We're here for the Democratic debates this week. Jordan, I think his back is like messed up. He couldn't even walk. He was doing bad, so I just told him to go to the hotel, and I'll try to take care of it right now. So we're here at this rally. If you guys can see, I'll get behind the camera in a few minutes so I can kind of scan the room. But this is a protest about the Green New Deal, about climate change, and about what we have to do. As you guys know, there was a study that came out that said we have about 12 years before catastrophic damage will happen to the earth, like something that will be unreversible. And so we got a lot of people out here, taking it serious. As you guys know, a lot of Republicans think it's a hoax. Our president don't know the difference between climate change and the weather, and they really think that for some reason they just feel like we have time to continue to do everything we're doing with these greenhouse gases and the carbon, and that we have 20 years, or we can just take minor or little small steps to make this happen. We have to have a radical change, and that's what these people are here to show politicians, that we need a radical change now, because we don't have much time before we have catastrophic damage to the earth, and to be irreversible. So I'm going to see if I can interview some people, see what they got going out here. How are you? She just walked in front of my camera because it don't matter to her, but it's all good. How you guys doing over here? How you doing, bro? Can I highlight you for a second? What you got going on here? What's your name, man?
Huck.
What is it?
Huck.
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 Oh, Huck.
Yeah.
My bad, bro. Nice to meet you, man. I'm Ty.
Likewise.
So tell me what you got going on here. Let's get in front of the camera so you can see. We're live right now on Status Coup. I don't know if you heard of us. We're a progressive online news network. We're based in New York, and we're here for the debates and everything. But we represent Bernie, and we here. We know you guys are talking about the Green Deal. So tell me how important this is to you right now with the Green Deal, and what.
To talk to, but this is
Well, you here? Tell me how you feel. What got you here?
Friends, Detroit. I mean, hold these politicians accountable. No one. I mean, the only people putting forth a good plan is Bernie right now, and that needs to change. They all need to be held accountable.
For sure. Well, tell me, obviously you hear, and I know you feel that it's important. What worries you the most about like the inactivity of politicians?
Oh, God.
Am I putting you on the spot?
It's everything.
Hey,
No, it's okay. No, everything. I mean, it's critical. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see you.
All right.
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything right now. I think, we're at an impasse. I think there's no more time to waste. It's this or nothing.
They said 12 years, and it seemed like they keep taking moderate steps. Like we don't even have time for that. What organization are you representing? What does this sign say?
Make Detroit the engine of the Green New Deal.
Perfect. All right, bro. Who else can I talk to around here? Is this your people right here?
I think
For sure. She got the knowledge. Can I highlight you for a second? You just passed by me when I was at my truck, huh? Yeah. How you doing?
Okay, I think Margot is great.
Okay, well, obviously everyone's out here because this is very important to them. And so what's your name? Can I highlight you for a second? Gina? For sure. So tell everybody your name. Come over here. We live right now on statuscoup.com. What's your name?
Gina.
So tell me why you're here, Gina. What's going on?
Just to support, my friends have a lot of goals out here. I have a lot of goals out here, and also fear for the fucking environment. So just trying to bring awareness and get someone to do something about it.
For sure. Well, what politician right now do you think is kind of BSing as far as like on the Democratic side, they're acting like they're with climate change, but they're not really doing nothing. They think we need to take moderate steps, and they're not being urgent enough.
I feel like most politicians haven't really taken a stand. Nobody has a plan on it. Everyone says, oh, yeah, the environment's really important, but what is the plan? No one has anything that they really are acting towards. So
Nobody, not even Bernie?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I haven't really heard anything specific from Bernie. I guess I probably should do more research on him, but yeah.
Well, what are you thinking should happen right now? As far as like a radical way that we can reverse the things that's going on as far as greenhouse gases and the carbon. I talked to some people earlier, and they were talking about hemp, like hemp and marijuana, and like the the fabric in hemp and how it can absorb carbon, and that's a good way to like absorb the carbon in the earth, so it can help like get less carbon. Like, is there any?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything specifically, but I was a material scientist in college, and just spending money on investing in people that are interested in looking at that type of technology. There's so many like natural like fabrics and just plants and different materials that have amazing properties like that nobody is spending time looking at, and just spending time rather on plastics and using plastics to make other things. But it's really like you can use natural elements to reverse some of the things that have been done to the environment, and that's
biodegradable things, right?
Yeah, and also things that eat plastic, things that like can break down plastic at faster rates and things like that. So
what are you representing? What's that right there?
This sign at one of the stands had signs for it.
Oh, okay, for sure. So are you from Detroit?
I'm not from Detroit, but I live here.
Oh, okay, where are you from?
Grand Blanc.
Where's that?
It's like near Flint.
Near Flint? Okay, cool. We just finished a documentary on Flint. We found out that the governor, the numbers that he used to declare the water safe, that it was a lie, that he manipulated the testing to declare the water safe.
I'm not surprised.
For sure. Well, check us out. I'm Ty. Thank you for letting me holler at you. Follow us on statuscoup.com on YouTube and check us out. You can see it for sure. We live right now. So you guys all hit the like button, press the share button. If you're not a member, become a member. Like Jordan said earlier, the way that we're able to get out here is through you guys. We're not taking any compromises. We're not taking any money or compromising our own interests. So you can become a member from $5, $10, $20. I think it's $178 annually. Obviously, y'all guys see I've been out of the loop for a little bit. I just bit my tongue. I've been out of the loop for a little bit, but I'm getting it back in. So I'm gonna just continue to interview some people. I'm gonna see if we can get some people that got a lot more knowledge than I do about what's going on. What's up, bro? Let me holler at you, pimp. What's your name, man?
JD, man.
JD, tell me what got you out here, bro.
Oh yeah, hey, I came to support the people, raise the minimum wage to 15 an hour, you know what I mean? We all need it, we could all use it, so, I just came out for the support,
For sure, where you from, man?
Detroit.
You from Detroit? Okay, cool. I'm from Compton, dog. We just came out here right now.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So you said that the minimum wage thing got you out here. How do you feel about the Green New Deal and the climate change? Does that worry you or anything, or is it hard to worry about the climate change? We got to worry about bills. Like, tell me about it.
Well, it is kind of hard to worry. It is kind of hard to worry about one thing when you got another thing, you got to worry about. But, it all works out for the better, though.
For sure.
What I'm saying.
So how do you, have you been following the politicians and the candidates as they've been debating and going throughout the candidacy?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm a part of Good Jobs Now. If you ever heard of Good Jobs Now, I'm part of that.
Okay.
And Black Lives Matter, I did the Black Lives Matter movement. So I'm down with the I've been doing D15 for a long time, so,
For sure. So who do you think right now that's running that kind of have your interest in mind? Somebody that you would back in the presidential election on the Democratic side?
Well, I'm not really into politics as far as the election, but I always vote. But I would say Biden. You know what I mean?
You say Biden?
Yeah.
Why do you say Biden?
Because, I feel that he probably would follow the Obama thing because, he was part of the Obama the campaign anyway. So I feel that he'll pick up off of that, as far as the health care and everything else. And I think he'll be a good candidate.
Well, Biden, back in '74. When they were doing the integration with the bus integrations, integrating the blacks and whites, he thought that we shouldn't have done that. He didn't think that we should mix black and white shouldn't integrate in busing. You should research that. Yeah, Biden got some crazy history. The crime bill in 1996 that was passed that have us 75% population being black in jail. That's Joe Biden. Wow. Joe Biden drafted that legislation. So do some research on them, man. Think about Bernie, because Bernie is about single payer health care. Obama, the ACA is cool. It got a lot of kinks in it that need to be like worked out. But the single payer is something that everybody can get behind. Everybody will be able to have health care, and it's way better. You know what I'm saying? And you won't have high premiums. It'll almost be like what happened with Social Security right now. Things like that. So I would challenge you to do some research on him. Check him out, because I think way better than Biden out the box. Like Biden is think about the reason why black people ain't really paid attention to politicians back in the day, because they never had our interests. They were lying, and they were just doing everything. It was never about us. Biden is a part of that legacy, dog. He's a part of the legacy. Look at his history. Don't believe me. Look at his history in USC, my dude. What's your name again? John? Ty, nice to meet you, bro. I appreciate you, man. For sure. Oh, for sure. How are you?
Hi.
Come over here right quick. We live right now. What's your name?
Margot Delal.
Marta?
Margot.
Margot?
Correct. Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from Virginia.
Virginia? Okay. You came all the way out here for this?
Oh, no, I've lived here for 5 years.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So tell me what got you out here. I know everybody's kind of excited, anxious, and everything that's going on, because they said we got, the study said we got like 12 years to do like a radical change, or we're going to have irreversible damage.
Yeah, less time than that.
So tell me what got you out here. What concerns you most about the inaction of these politicians?
Well, I work for economic justice and economic equality. So I really believe in community wealth and community ownership and higher green infrastructure, and it's intersectional with community wealth and ownership. So we need to own we need to own community ownership of land and water, and these things wouldn't happen if we had that.
That's crazy. That's true. Because if we owned it, absolutely. Because, that's how Flint happened. That's how Flint happened.
If you own the water with your neighbors, would you have poisoned your own water?
Nope, not at all. I wouldn't have no interest. So what, is there like a politician right now, you've been following the candidacy, the presidential Democratic?
Yeah, my top choice would be Bernie Sanders, and if I had to choose a second, it would be Elizabeth Warren.
Okay, for sure. Why Bernie Sanders at the top?
He's the most consistent, progressive politician that's actually honest and truthful and doesn't take corporate money.
For sure. Is there anything particular that speaks to you as far as his policies and everything? I feel the same way, but I'm just wondering is there anything that kind of speaks to you as far as his policies? Because it seemed like Elizabeth Warren has adopted a lot of his policies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I that's probably why you got him above her. But tell me, is there some things that speak to you more than Elizabeth Warren?
Bernie, and when he was in Burlington, he did a lot for community ownership, land trusts, community control, and that's my line and my expertise of work. So I know that from an economic standpoint and from a local standpoint, I believe in his politics, and the rest also align. So that's why.
For sure. So tell me right now, if these politicians was looking at you, and you wanted to tell them something about what they need to do about climate change right now, like what would you say?
It would be to pass a Green New Deal. It would be to get money out of fossil fuels. We need to divest from fossil fuels, and we need to invest in renewable energy. And it's really simple. We just have to do it.
I heard that. What's your name again?
Margot Delal.
Margot, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, okay? For sure. So that was Margot, and we out here. How are you? The Green New Deal. Come over here. Let me lighten this up a little bit. I'm working solo, so I got to change the exposure because it seemed like you guys, I'm dark-skinned.
We're going to be doing a chant at the very end of the march. That's a sacred chant.
Oh, holla at me. A supporter of status quo. Come over here. Come over here. No, come right here. How are you? So she's a status quo supporter. What's your name?
My name's Lauren Sargent from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Cool. Ann Arbor, Michigan. So you know about the work we've been doing with Flint and everything?
Yes, and also Jordan's work at Standing Rock is really what got me to Standing Rock. And also what he did last time in the whole election nonsense that went on. And he's continuing to give a voice to the grassroots movements, which is where it's at. So I'm glad to see you are here. I was looking for you guys.
I heard that. Giving the mic back to the people. Hey, so tell me what got you out here and why is it so important to you, and why is it so important that we act now and not be moderate about it, but be very, very vigilant about taking steps to change things so we can get so we can save this planet. What does that say? 11 years?
11 years.
Back up a little bit so they can see it. 11 years? All right, tell me about it.
I got kids. I have an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old, and I look at all these young people who don't have any future. It's no wonder that there's an epidemic of depression and anxiety. Guess what? It's not social media that's doing it. It's what they know about what's happening in the world that's doing it. That's why young people are anxious, as we all should be. So
that's crazy that you brought that up, because there is as far as young people, like an epidemic of just not just opioids, but like Xanax, all type of things to seem to try to escape, because it is stressful as a kid when you see everything that's going on and you see that no one's doing nothing. They're still doing the same thing, and they're only concerned about themselves and not about the rest of the world and humanity, for that matter.
And then we have the so-called Party of the People, of which I am temporarily a member again, saying we can't even talk about the single greatest threat to life on Earth, but we can't talk about it.
Because nothing else matters. If we can't live here on Earth, healthcare don't matter. None of that shit matters, because we won't be able to even walk outside.
Nope. And I've been aware of this because my friend Howie Hawkins,
hold on 1 second. Kind of blew out.
Make sure that we're taking up the whole area. The other thing is,
sorry, you guys, I'm solo, so go ahead.
and my friend Howie Hawkins, who actually wrote the Green New Deal in his run for governor in New York in 2010 with the Green Party, he is here, and he's right over your left shoulder, right there, with the Teamster shirt. That's right him.
Okay. He ran for what office?
He ran for governor of New York a few times as a Green, and he's
Green
also
Party?
Yep.
Okay, I'll holler at him.
And here he has a comparison of the difference between the Green New Deal, what I call the real deal Green New Deal, and the way that it's going to be chopped up and shredded in the political process if we are not vigilant.
I heard that, because that's what they like to do, and then they like to add stuff in it that don't even have to do with anything, just to try to get what they want.
Right, and corporate money and things like net zero carbon instead of talking about greenhouse gases, because that excludes methane, which leaves the door wide open for carbon capture and storage, which is a nonsense techno fix that doesn't exist, but it allows fracking to continue and plastic production and all this kind of stuff. So we have to be really vigilant to have a real deal Green New Deal, which is why I'm working as a precinct delegate within the Democratic Party, but my heart is with the Greens. With the Green Party, because they stand up for what we all should be standing up for.
I heard that. That's good, man. And we got to keep our neck on ALC, and just to make sure that there's no compromise, because it's the difference between running and being in office. You know what I mean? And you can get too comfortable. You know?
It's very seductive.
Yeah, very.
So, got to keep our feet. We got to keep our balance. We got to be fluid. We got to keep our eyes on the prize.
I heard that. What's your name again?
Lauren.
Lauren. Yep. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. What's his name again? Howie Hawkins?
Yes.
How you doing, bro?
Nice to meet you. I got a cold.
Okay. Come over here. Let me get you in front of the camera. All right. We live right now on statuscoup.com. Like I said, you guys hit that like button. We're here in Detroit. This is about the Green Party deal, talking about climate change. So what's your name? Howie? And she told me you ran for was it governor of New York? Green Party? Tell me about the Green New Deal and why is it important that we make sure that it's not watered down before it gets through the House and the Senate and everything, and that we make sure that it has its integrity that it has right now.
Well, the Green New Deal is providing what people need. We need an economic bill of rights: jobs, income, housing, health care, education, retirement. And then we need to transform the economy so we're not destroying the ecology. I mean, climate change is not just stronger storms and more heat waves. It means ecosystem collapse, food production collapse, mass environmental refugees, mass starvation. I mean, this is an existential threat.
Yeah.
Now, we've been campaigning in the Green Party since I ran for governor. I'm the original Green New Deal. I ran on it in 2010 against Governor Cuomo, and it was about coming out of the Great Recession then. So we emphasized the Economic Bill of Rights, but also the economic stimulus of investing in this new green economy. And we did that for 10 years. Our presidential candidate, Jill Stein, ran on in 2012 and 2016. I ran for governor in 2014, 2018 again. We got our ballot line in New York, and we've elected people locally. And then a week after the last governor's election, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez goes with the Sunshine Movement to Pelosi's office, and it blows up. Now everybody's talking about the Green New Deal, and people love it. The polls showed like 80% of the people. The problem is when the Democrats take the brand, they drained a lot of the content. Really crucial things like we need a ban on fracking and new fossil fuel infrastructure. If we keep building that infrastructure to burn fossil fuels, you can build all the solar panels and wind generators you want. If you're still burning carbon, putting it in the atmosphere, and those investors expect 3 or 4 decades of returns, we're cooked. So we need that ban. They took it out of the non-binding resolution before Congress. They say nothing about nuclear power, which is a very expensive way to, it's like, there's one guy, Amory Lovins, used to say, it's like cutting butter with a chainsaw. You're just boiling water. We know how to boil water for millennia, and you don't need nuclear reaction to do that, but you got hundreds of thousands of years of waste. It's very expensive. For the money we can build a new nuke, we can build a whole lot more energy production with solar and wind. So they don't say that. We said we need deep cuts in military spending and put those resources into building the Green New Deal. And they say nothing about the military budget, which is draining resources that we need to devote. During World War II, we put rent controls federally because we weren't going to build any new housing. We're putting all our resources into building the arsenal of democracy. And the federal government took over or built a quarter of the manufacturing in the whole country so they could turn industry on a dime into that arsenal of democracy that beat the fascists. We need to do nothing less to defeat climate change, which means Exxon and the Koch brothers, we got to take them over. They don't reinvest their profits from fossil fuels and renewables. They invested in more fossil fuels. We can't afford that. They've had their chance. They've blown it. Those should be publicly controlled. Same with the utilities, same with the railroads, because we got to build rails. So we call it an eco-socialist Green New Deal. We need to take control of key sectors that will be crucial to building out this Green New Deal, this clean economy. So that's the kind of things we're talking. And since everybody's talking about the Green New Deal now, the purpose of the Green Party in this campaign is to raise the standard. And it's the necessary standard. If we're going to solve the problem, if we're not going to solve the problem, why bother, right?
Exactly.
So that's what it's about.
If you're going to BS, why even do it? So tell me this. How important is it for these candidates when they're talking about infrastructure and they're talking about all these things that they think the Democrats want or whatever, how important is it to emphasize the fact that if we are going to do new infrastructure, we have to do it different. We can't go into infrastructure doing it the same way because it's going to expedite the climate being messed up, right?
Right. Take transportation. The bridges are falling down. The roads got potholes and they're bumpy and they need to be repaired. But asphalt and concrete emit a lot of carbon. And we've known how to transport people more efficiently better. And that is, if it's a long distance, it's by rail. Electrified rail with clean electricity powering it. And people say, oh, it's not powerful enough. No, it's more powerful. What's a diesel engine? It's an electric motor. They use the diesel to create the energy, the electricity to turn it. Well, let's just directly power an electric motor. So we need mass transit. We need high-speed intercity rail, so we have less air travel for those intermediate distances. We need intercity light rail. They used to call them the interurbans. They're almost like subways, but they'll go, around the suburbs and the nearby cities that's satellite Detroit, for example. So now that's doing infrastructure right for mass transportation. And then around those spokes and hubs of the rail system, you build walkable communities or bikeable communities. The most efficient way of transporting people ever invented is the bicycle in terms of energy expended. So make it easy for bicyclists, for walking. You should be able to walk to the grocery store, walk to the clothing store, walk to the school, even walk to your job.
Yeah.
And if your job is on the other side of town, get on that intra-city trolley light rail.
Yeah.
So that's doing it right, rather than just saying, oh, we got to rebuild the roads, and we lost jobs in Detroit, so let's build more internal combustion engines. There's a group here in Detroit that back when the crisis hit in 2008, they called themselves the Auto Workers Caravan. They caravan down to Washington and said, Congress, you're going to bail out the industry. Let's do it right. Let's do the rails. Let's do the solar panels and the wind generators. Let's rebuild manufacturing. And all they did was bail out, the companies who, the rich folks got bailed out.
And no one went to jail. I hear that accent. Where are you from, dog?
I'm from California, but
From California? With that accent?
Most of the kids, the families in my neighborhood were Southern blacks from the Mississippi Delta, came up to work in the shipyards during World War II. The city fathers wanted to send them back after the war. They said, hell no, we're staying.
Yeah.
And so I picked up that accent when I was a little rugrat.
For sure. I'm from Compton. That's what I was wondering. Okay, for sure.
Okay, Compton. I'm from Oakland and San Mateo.
I just did a documentary in Oakland and Fruitville about bail reform. They just ended bail in California, and we were part of that campaign with the ACLU and the Pretrial Justice Institute to end the cash bail in California. It ended last year.
So my neighborhood was full of people that might, back when I was coming up, live in Watts, but we're moving down toward Compton in the 50s and 60s.
For sure. So tell me how important then, is a strong third party, how imperative is it for? I mean, I understand how candidates like Bernie feels that he needs to be a part of the Democratic Party just to get notoriety or get, recognition. I don't know, but how important do you feel that it is for us to have a strong third party and for us to kind of wait it out until we even get stronger? Because if we continue to feel like we need to go to the Democratic Party, then it's never going to get strong. It takes time to get strong, but as we continue, it seems like every time AOC or someone that is for these the policies that we want, but then they go to the Democratic Party, and I mean, obviously they just railroaded by the Democratic Party, but I mean, how important is it to you for us to kind of stick it out and ride it out?
Democrats like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they get more leverage when there are Greens out here and they got to compete for the Green vote. All the Democrats got to compete for the Green vote. So AOC can say, if you don't adopt the Green New Deal, people are going to go with these Greens that are calling for the Green New Deal. That gives them leverage. Yeah. Medicare for all, everything we're talking about. If you don't have something to the left of the Democrats, the progressives in the Democratic Party got no leverage. In the long run, I don't think they have enough leverage. Look at the Green New Deal. Not only did AOC water it down, or she took it from Sunrise, it's not what the Greens are talking about. They took the brand, but diluted a lot of the content. But then they can't even get it through Congress because Pelosi and those corporate Democrats are the real power in the Democratic Party. Yeah. So Pelosi won't even let them vote on a Green New Deal. And then McConnell in the Senate said, oh, you can vote on it. And the senators, half of them are running for president, said, oh, that's a trick. So we're just going to vote president. And actually 4 of them voted against it. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to get a Green New Deal, Medicare for all, affordable housing for all.
You really don't? Really?
Not from the Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, Roosevelt asked them to enact it in 1944 in his State of the Union address and again in 1945, his last State of the Union address. And it's pieces of it were in the Democratic platform until the early 70s. They had a Democratic majority under every president from Truman to Obama. And we've got none of those economic rights. So that's a pretty strong record to say that
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen through the Democratic Party. Yeah. And the progressives, the socialists, the left, we need to speak for ourselves. When we try to speak through the Democratic Party, I call it political ventriloquism. You're trying to make this corporate-funded candidate your puppet. Yeah. And it's hard. It don't work. Yeah. So, we try to get them to do and say what we want them to do. No, let's just say and do what we want to do ourselves. Build our own movement, independent of this corporate-funded behemoth that we're never going to take over. Yeah. And it's not, I don't think it's the structural barriers to a third party. It's that the left since the 30s has, gone into the Democratic Party. It went in with Roosevelt New Deal, and it never came out. So that's why we don't really have a strong left in this country, in my opinion.
For sure, man. So who right now obviously it's Bernie. What more can Bernie do tonight to stand out. I feel like he had a missed opportunity in the last debate in Miami. I think if he would have like threw in Biden's face what he had just said a couple days prior to these guys said they're not going to like lose their lifestyle. I forgot what he said. Just talking about like the corporations, like I mean the medical industry, like nothing's going to happen. You know, he had a meeting with them, and Biden said nothing about it. Just a few days ago, he told the AARP, he like kind of insinuated, was like fear mongering, saying that if we go into Medicare for all, that there's going to be like a hiatus period where no one's going to have insurance, kind of making people feel like they could die if we go to this single payer. What do you think Bernie should do tonight? Well, I know he's not with Biden, but should he like speak on it though? The hypocrisy and the lies?
Well, you can take Biden apart on healthcare policy. Yeah. That's easy. I mean, Biden was making it up. He was acting like Trump, making it up off the top of his head because what he said isn't true. I think Bernie did good in the last debate. Look, he's got a core out there. He's got 1 million volunteers. If they're doing the ground game, that's going to mean a lot because getting out people out to vote in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, that means a lot. And he's got that more than anybody. He's got the biggest list. So even though the polls are kind of fickle, a lot of like the majority of black people are for Biden right now in the Democratic primary. But as they get to know the other candidates, it's like Bernie, He was late to the, working with the black community as a congressperson. He represented the whitest state in the country, Vermont. But as black folks, the polls showed us, got to know his policies and realized he'd been fighting for these things for a long time. He was, I think, the most popular politician among black folks as well as all folks before this campaign started. So I think he's got a strong base. He'll be in the running at the end.
I hope so.
And I think what he did in the last debate was he presented his ideas without getting in fights with the others. I thought he presented them well. He had a couple great lines, like when he was asked about, and this is all you can do in those formats, about I think it was about the Green New Deal or climate action. And he said, there's $1.5 trillion spent in the world on weapons, and we need to convert a lot of that to the Green New Deal or to climate action or to a clean energy economy. I thought that was a great statement. It was further than anyone else had gone. So I think he's doing, I think he's in a good position. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't pick any fights if I was him. I would just keep presenting his program. And I've known him since 1972.
Yeah.
He's been saying this stuff since 1972. Yeah. What you see is what you get with him, and I think that's going to help him too.
I agree, but I'm thinking of 2016 and how he was just, we don't want to talk about these emails anymore. I think all those things, like we emotional, especially Democrats. We kind of like go towards people that move us. We're kind of emotional, I feel like the majority of us. And I think he would have done a lot better if he would just like put the lies in front of their face. I mean, Hillary told him, like, you don't think he should just put the lies in front of their face? I mean, they're lying. A lot of people don't do due diligence. They just like my aunt. My aunt, that's my mother. She raised me. She's Biden. Just because Biden was the vice president of Obama, and she's familiar with him, and she feels that he's connected more to black people, and they don't know. Like, people don't know about what he said in 1974 about the integrating the buses, and that he actually drafted the crime bill. Like people still really don't know that don't follow politics. Like, you don't think that that's something that Well,
people are emotional. So when you bring the bad message, the messenger gets some negative too. Bernie shouldn't be the messenger for that message. That message will get out there. And I agree with you. Bernie shouldn't have bailed out Hillary on the emails. He should have just let her hang by herself. Yeah. And he didn't need to say anything. That was, I thought, a mistake. And, what she did was arrogant. It was a serious violation. And he shouldn't have said it's nothing. Because a lot of people thought, how can somebody, State Department head, have a private server at home? It's pretty, I don't know if she broke any laws. The FBI said she didn't, but they did say what she did wasn't smart or right. Yeah. And everybody understood that. He didn't need to bail her out. So I agree with you on that.
Just be quiet.
Yeah, but Bernie don't need to be the messenger on that.
For sure.
The reporters will get it out. And Bernie
You
just...
think so? It seemed like the reporters are part of his his administration right now. If you look at MSNBC, they seem like they're getting paid from Biden. It seems like they work for Biden. You know, the way they talk about Bernie makes, like the lady said, Bernie makes my skin crawl. And the one guy on Morning Joe was like, I will vote for Trump another 4 years before I vote for Bernie.
Donnie, I call him Donnie the dummy.
Yeah.
Donnie, he's that for Deutsch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a conservative business guy from New York.
Yeah. But all of them, CNN,
MSNBC, we call it MSDNC.
Yeah.
You know, for Democratic National Committee.
I like that.
You know, Fox,
like that.
Fox is the Republicans. CNN is where they have cat fights. And they always had, going back to Crossfire, they always get both sides and they start shouting at each other. Look, you know, the percentage of people watching that is like 1%.
Yeah.
You know, it's among opinion leaders, you know, people in the communities that are informed and people kind of look to. So it has a bigger reach than just the people directly watching. And it is a problem. But Bernie can get directly to people. He's got the biggest list. People will watch the debates. They'll get him without the filtering. And they'll, you know, I think people react like, I don't know who said Bernie makes his or her skin crawl.
It was somebody on MS. It was a lady. It was a lady on MSNBC that said that.
But people watching Bernie, they're going to see like, a lot of them are going to say, no, you make my skin crawl. So I'm not so worried about that. I mean, Bernie's going to, look, the media, who's behind Pete Buttigieg? Yeah. You know, I found out one group of big charter funders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But he raised the most money. I was thinking, man, I got to find out who's behind this guy. Somebody with a lot of money is. And and he's got a lot of push from MSNBC. But in the end, look, the voters have the last say. I've seen this a bunch of times. McGovern beat the system in 72. Carter, he had establishment backing, but not all the establishment. He was a surprise. Trump, all the Republican establishment can't stand him. The voters have the last say.
Yeah.
And Bernie, you talk about the emotional connection. Bernie is not a preacher. He's not the one you go to in church to get, you know, fire and brimstone.
That's Nina Turner.
Hoot and holler. Yeah, Nina can do that. But Bernie's like the quiet guy. Every church has them too. You know, the quiet, pious guy that people look up to. And he's not hooting and hollering. He's sitting there, even, you know, the choir's going, and he maybe bob his head a little bit. He ain't jumping up and dancing. Yeah. But people feel him too. And I think people feel Bernie because Bernie is sincere, and he's got a 50-year record of presenting that. So, you know, my only problem with Bernie is he's in the wrong party, and he's calling what he's doing socialism when it's really old-fashioned liberalism. You tax the capitalists and have some social programs. That's not viable. The billionaire class he's talking about, we need to expropriate them. In other words, that those big assets they own through their giant corporations need to be socially owned or cooperatively owned, so we all share in the wealth we create instead of having them grab a lot of the value we create with our work. And that's how you get the great inequality, and that's how the concentrated economic power translates into concentrated political power. So if Bernie were president and got Medicare for all passed, the rich folks that come out of the insurance industry and their allies, the drug industry, they'll be working right away to undermine it. Like we've seen it, say, in Britain. When Thatcher got in there, they started privatizing some of the administration of a public health service. And it's hurt the public health service. So you got to take that power from the capitalists so that the people have the power democratically. So I disagree with Bernie on that. But I think he's going to do well. He'll be in the running at the end.
Okay. Where can people find you at, Howie?
HowieHawkins.us is the website, www.howiehawkins.us, and there you can find a lot more about what we're talking about. There are dozens or scores of issues. How to get in touch with the campaign, get regular emails from us, volunteer, donate, become active in the campaign if you want, and just a lot of information on the issues. Okay. You know, our idea is as much education as mobilization, so that there's nothing more powerful. What do they say? The pen is more powerful than the sword, or mightier than the sword.
Mightier than the sword, yeah.
That's true. Look at what happened in Puerto Rico. You know, the people found out they got a corrupt government, and they just said no more. And the governor could have called out all the police and the whole National Guard, and those crowds would have. Yeah. No, the police and the National Guard would have gone over to the crowd. So
No, absolutely.
So ideas are really important.
Yeah.
So that's an important part of our campaign.
That's good. I see you're a union guy as well, right?
A retired Teamster, man. I was looking forward to reading a couple hundred books and maybe writing a couple in the next few years. And now the Greens got me running for president.
That's a
Wasn't
good
what I
thing.
planned, but it wasn't what I planned, but I'm doing it now for how many more months is it? If I get the nomination, it'd be about, let's see, October, September, August, 15 more months?
15 more months.
16 more months? Yeah, to go by in a flash, even though it seems a long time.
I think people going to feel that accent, man. I'm loving that accent, bro. Okay, good. All right, man. Nice to meet you. I appreciate your time, for sure. Follow us on statuscoup.com on YouTube, man. Right. Progressive News Network. It got pretty dark in here. I don't know where everybody, is it over?
No, they're marching now.
Oh, they're marching. Yeah, absolutely.
This is power. You got power.
No, that's so we're live on like all our social networks right now through the camera. That's the internet connection right there. So we're live on YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, and what else are we live? I think those are it right now. And our website, yeah. Yeah, camera live streams, that connects to the stream key, and then it powers everything, and it allows you, when you're in crowds like this, to get the strongest signal. It takes those 3 modems right there that's connected and binds them together, and it grabs the strongest signal. Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. Yeah, status coup. A coup d'etat of the status quo. That's what a status coup is. It's the coup d'etat of the status quo.
Yeah, I got that. I figured that. And you said progressives?
Yeah, that's progressive News Network. Yeah, okay. Going against all DNC members.
And your name?
Ty Bayless, and Jordan Sheridan is the actual CEO. He's the main journalist.
How you spell Bayless?
BAYLISS.
All right.
And Jordan Sheridan. Jordan Sheridan, who's actually the guy that challenged what was the lady name? She gave the questions to Hillary in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Now she's a Fox commentator.
Yeah, so he's the one that challenged her, that made her resign from CNN. Yeah, when she gave Barbara Brazil, yeah, for sure. Donna Brazil, my bad.
Yeah, and so he down in New Louisiana?
No, he's in New York.
Oh, he challenged her.
He at the DNC, the last debate in 2016, when they found out about the questions, he was the one that like kind of challenged her, and that's kind of like what a lot of people know him for, like doing that.
In what context? Was it a question from the floor as a reporter?
Yeah, from the floor as a reporter, absolutely. Yeah. While everyone was in the spin room just asking her these little questions when they knew that stuff just came out, he was like, "What about the emails?" You know. That's what we do. We keep it 100 here on Status Coup. So where did they march to? Because I should be trying to follow them, maybe. Huh? Oh, they marched to Fox Theater. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to drive over there to Fox Theater and catch up with them. They're going to be there for the debate and everything?
It ends before the debate, so people can go wherever they're going to go watch it.
Okay.
They just letting the Democrats know.
For sure. Okay, absolutely. Thank you, bro. How are you? No, you can come in. Where are you from? Are you from an organization? Let's ban fracking.org. You want to talk about it? You and your dog?
I don't want to be a part of the group. The rally is they're trying to get the media.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, we're a national network. We're based in New York. I'm from LA, but our base is in New York. Yeah. Status Coup, statuscoup.com. Yeah, I'm Ty Bayless and Jordan Sheridan and Jen Dice. We're all Status Coup, yeah.
Well, our issue is a state issue.
Okay.
Ban fracking.
They can't hear you. Go ahead. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Luann Cosma.
Come over here just a little bit. Okay. And where are you from?
Hi, I'm actually from Charlevoix, Michigan.
Okay.
Which is in northern Michigan.
Okay.
But we're a statewide organization called the Committee to Ban Fracking in Michigan.
Okay. So tell me about it.
For the last 7 years, we've been trying to get a ballot initiative on the ballot by collecting signatures to get on the ballot. And what happened to us is last fall, we submitted our signatures to the Secretary of State, and we got turned down at the door, which is very unheard of. And we actually haven't gotten any media attention for it, even in Michigan, which is kind of unheard of because it's sort of a startling thing that they did, especially after 3 years before we had sued the state of Michigan regarding our signatures. And we're trying to get clarification on the law saying that, hey, the signature gathering law that restricts us to just a 180-day time period was unconstitutional. So when we sued 3 years ago, they told us you're too soon, you've got to come back with all your signatures, then you'll be able to file. They told all 3 Michigan courts that same thing. Then we did exactly what they told us to do, and they said, no, you can't file because of the date on the front of the petition, which is actually immaterial, and there's no law that says that there has to be any date whatsoever. And so it's a huge legal fight at this point. We sued at the end of December, and the former Secretary of State had made this decision last fall. And we were hoping that and she was a Republican, we were hoping that the new administration, which is a Democratic Secretary of State, was going to reverse this decision, and she is not. In fact, she's fighting us tooth and nail.
Well, they just dropped all 12 charges for the people that did everything in Flint, so.
Right. Yeah. So we're really, we're up against it, but we are going to fight all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court. A lot of people have signed this petition. We're trying to ban horizontal fracking and frack waste, and where frack waste is affecting people in the state is really all over. There's a heavy concentration of frack waste coming to Wayne County and Detroit, so there are a lot of people in Detroit fighting that right now. Some of the folks in our campaign have been involved in that.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee, come over here just a little bit so I can get into the center. I guarantee after you do a little more research, you probably find that untreated water is a part of the reason that Flint happened. Right. They're wanting that untreated water for fracking.
They were trying to make a connection to that, and I was trying to figure out.
We're deep into it. We just finished a documentary on Governor Snyder that he cheated on the water testing. The numbers were manipulated to declare the water fine. And we're doing more research, and we're finding out that starting in 2008, I think with the pipeline, I'm trying to get this. It's a lot going on, but that untreated water getting that access to that untreated water has a lot to do with what happened in Flint. With them changing to the Flint River when Detroit actually lowered the price for Flint. You know what I mean?
To me, it was a matter of monetizing the water for everybody. So say the frackers are getting water for free out of the ground, and then they, this was my personal theory, that if groundwater is then contaminated, then if you have a groundwater well, then you no longer can use it. Therefore, you have to buy into their money, their water for money.
Of course.
And so it's monetizing water for everybody.
And then they give Nestle a contract for $100 a year, and they're making hundreds of $millions bottling up the water.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of improprieties there with who was advising the governor on that and everything. Of course. And where they're fracking on state land, when they get the permit to frack, drill the frack well, they also get to drill on that land for water for free. So frackers get water for free. But they're making the rest of us pay. Wow.
And
so
they poison it, which
poison it.
Pressure you to buy the water.
Yeah, and then frack waste also is poisonous in that it's radioactive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gasland, the documentary Gasland talks all about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So we are, we've been fighting this for 7 years, and it's. In the very beginning, no one really knew what fracking was because it was only going on in places like Pennsylvania, Wyoming, and we weren't really hearing the stories yet about, at least not directly, about how many people were getting sick and what the, effects was on, animals and their farms and wherever, these frack wells are and these big holding ponds. Well, for example, Pennsylvania only has a handful of injection wells. Michigan has over 1,400. Wow. Yeah, we're going to be a frack waste capital.
This is crazy.
And here we have all this water here,
Yeah, the lakes. I know it's bizarre, right?
Very bizarre. Yeah. And the lakes and the groundwater's all connected. The rivers, so in Michigan, so we have to protect all of that water.
So, well, where can they find you?
Where we can, letsbanfracking.org is our website. It's on the web, and we have a phone number there.
And it has more information about what you guys doing and what you need, okay?
Right. We have the copies of the lawsuit at this point, and so we just need support. We need people to get the media to cover it. Thank you for covering it. And yeah, we're just trying to get the word out to, at events like this is where there are activists and people who care, not just activists, but, people who are coming out to care, who are active. And so, because with the media not covering it, nobody knows what happened,
For sure.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Luann Cosma, yeah.
Luann Cosma?
Right.
All right, thank you so much, Luann.
Campaign director.
All right, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, for sure. So, like I said, we out here in D.C. It seemed like they marched to the Fox Theater where the debate is, so we're going to go and I'm going to go to the Fox Theater and see what's going on over there. Remember, hit the like button so we can get more views on the video. Share this. Remember to become a Status Coup member from less than $5. I mean, you can do it for $5 a month, $10 a month. This is how we get around. This is how we get to the stories that you guys want to hear and not focus on Trump like you see everyone else do, even some of the other progressive networks. So if you got $5 a month, if you can spare that, become a member of Status Coup. Get us out here so we can continue to follow the campaign, follow the candidates that you want to see, challenge those candidates, challenge the people that are telling us that we have time to sugarfoot around while the planet destroys itself, or while we destroy it. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna sign out right now. They're going to have a watch party. I'm going to attend that. Hopefully Jordan is feeling better. I doubt if he's feeling better because he barely could walk. And that's why I told him, I'm like, Doug, you need to go lay down because he barely could walk. I had back problems. Y'all know my shoulder was messed up. So how he was looking, I don't think he's going to be ready, but he may tough it out for some reason. He feel like he needs to, but he ain't going to never heal. So, but I'll probably be at the watch party, watch the debate, then talk to some people about it, how they felt. And we'll be in Detroit today and tomorrow, and we'll see y'all in a bit. Peace.